What's good? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chuck. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate all the support this week. Glad you guys enjoyed the market recap video on Monday. So much has happened. And I want to talk about what my plan is going forward in terms of what I'm targeting. And I think there are two sets that come to mind that I believe over the next 365 days and beyond, even in the short and midterm, these are two sets that I know are going to perform really well. Those two sets are Crown Zenith and 151, and I'm going to go over each product within each respective set and talk about my plans for buying them at upcoming card shows and finding local deals and kind of generally where my thoughts are. Hey guys, really quickly, I'm using the Shiny app today for the sponsor of the video to show their amazing card scanner feature. These are two cards I pulled last year, and as you can see, it is just as easy as tapping a button after setting what light setting I need, which is really bad. And I'm adding them right into my collection, and it's super easy to use, so thank you to the Shiny app. I would like to kind of set the tone by talking about Crown Zenith first. As we know, it is an incredible set. I want to go through this card list and compare it to, generally the Scarlet and Violet era, just to get my point across that this is a generational set. Arguably the best in Sword and Shield. I think it's between this and Evolving Skies. And I think if you choose either, I have no issues with that. Personally, I probably would choose Evolving because as a mainline set with a booster box, that's pretty insane. But I think there's a very strong argument that Crown Zenith is the best set in the Sword and Shield era. To start, we have these gold cards. They look like really some of the most kind of adult and mature cards that we've gotten, I think, ever in the Pokemon hobby. They're extremely unique. I don't think we've really received anything like this before. With like this Return of the King, card here. The Arceus, the Giratina, just insanely unique. Actually on these gold cards, I think it's not a horrible time to be looking at slabs for them. My concern with that is that I know populations are pretty high, but from a quality perspective, going out of rotation in April, I still think there's a lot of growth ahead for these PSA 10s. And we bottomed out actually in June, and now it's kind of on the rebound, up about $60 for the Giratina. I think it's probably a similar story for these other three, but maybe to a lesser degree. Yeah. So, you can get a full set for, it seems to be under, what, $1,000 or something? $200, $200, $350, $200, somewhere in that range. I don't know. Am I going out and running out and buying slabs of these? No, but I might consider doing this for myself, for my own personal collection, because I'm just such a huge fan of these cards. This Mewtwo V-Star is really cool. Connective art with the Zard, obviously. A lot of people's personal favorites in the set. I really do like it as well. I actually pulled the Palkia. Check it out. By the way, should I grade this? I think the centering on the front is no bueno, but actually the back is pretty good. No issues with the corners, so I don't know. I was thinking about grading it just because I pulled it, but I do believe it'll get a 9, but let me know what y'all think. I digress, but yeah, that's the first row of the top cards in the set. Okay, so now rows 2 and 3, as far as value goes. Evolutions. One of the best Leafeon cards that we've ever received. One of the best Glaceon cards we've ever received. And one of the best Suicunes we've ever received. I know it's not an evolution. But look at this Suicune card. I mean, it's unbelievable. This Deoxys is so unique. Very trippy. Got the alien, orbital kind of, with the planet there, getting abducted, whatever. Pretty nice. Darkrai, nice card. I've pulled it twice. You got the other dogs. The Raikou, I think, looks amazing in person. I'm personally not a huge fan of this Entei, but I'm a huge fan of Entei as a Pokemon, so I don't know. It does something for me. Again, this set is, if you like Deoxys, this set is stacked with Deoxys cards. Obviously the Sleeping Mew card, which got a lot of popularity in the recent kind of singles boom. Pikachu, another Pikachu is Cynthia's Ambition. We all love Cynthia. The Semiseer has done a lot of work recently. Zoroark, Zacian, Zamazenta. Look at the Zeraora. These cards are very nice. Regigigas, and the quality just keeps going. Latias, Lapras, Samurott. Even this Lumineon card is quite nice. And then you have this Deoxys, which is $6. I think in a 10 it's like 60, but what an incredible card. You know, if this set was released in the Scarlet and Violet era, it would be impossible to get. It would be impossible to get. And like these cheap IRs even, like the Saltaria is pretty cool. The Miltank is nice. Like it just really did these Pokemon justice. And so from a ripping perspective, if you know, you get a hit basically every 3 packs, super fun to rip. So many cards have been pulled, or so many packs have been ripped, I should say. Special shout out to this Toxtricity right here. $1.57 for this quality of art. Not saying it's going to pump anytime soon, but that's a pretty cool card with a decent Pokemon for $1. But yeah, I mean, look, like this set is incredible. Still holding a very high set value, all things considered, considering how much it was printed. All right. It's out of rotation. It's done. You might get a little trickle of product here and there, like we've kind of seen the last, you know, in 2025, but I would say that's even less than at the beginning of the year. And we might be completely done with it by the end of the year, I would say. And so the products that I'm looking at are obviously, you know, kind of trending up to the most packs products. I think there's a couple different ideas you could shoot for here. You know, for instance, the Sea and Sky box is $166. 14 packs sealed. You could probably find this 150. If you find it for 150 divided by 14, that's just over $10 a pack. Whereas the you know, the ETB, which is kind of my personal favorite, just from a collector and display standpoint, if you find it for 175, it has 10 packs. Obviously, you're looking at $17 a pack. You're paying a lot more premium on that. So Sea and Sky, I think, is still if you're looking for just packs, this is probably your best bet as far as all the products go. But I think there's going to be some variance depending on, you know, what investors and collectors are looking for. Because you can break these down. I mean, it's better to keep them sealed ultimately. I have 2. I bought 10 last year. I opened most of them. But yeah, 14 packs. You can break these down and just have loose packs, and I don't think it really affects the value that much because I think loose packs are still just over $10 a pack. If I can find it here, which I'm sure we will very soon. Yeah, $12.64 a pack, which I feel like that's high, but I guess it's not. It's a $12 pack, so Sea and Sky, I think, definitely has some appreciation ahead of it. I do believe the ETBs are still a great investment. You do get a promo card, the Lucario V-Star. It's a nice card. It's not gonna, you know, rock the world or anything, but it's a fantastic looking ETB. The PCTB also just looks incredible. You only get 2 extra packs. Not really anything else special about it, but from a display standpoint, it's really nice. But I'm personally just moving on from this. I'm much more interested in the regular ETB as well as the Sea and Sky. And I'm also finding deals on some of these 10s, particularly the Moltres 10. I just picked one up for $40 recently. I don't think it's $74. I guess one sold for $74. I don't know. Last time I checked, the promo card was about $14 or so, maybe 15, 16. And so this 10 holds a premium due to the Shinji hype. This is a Shinji Konda card, if you weren't already aware. And so they're, in my opinion, if you can find these for the same price, it's still just as worth it to me. They're going to be less desirable, but they do both have decent promos in it. I don't think anybody really cares about them, but from a price per pack perspective, these look pretty cool. They're not super hard to store, and it's a good value. These blisters are some of the most well-built, high-quality blisters we've probably ever received. They come with a pin, come with a promo, and they have 3 hangers on them, and they just look really nice. They're super sturdy. But again, I'd be looking for a 10 over that personally, just from a price per pack perspective. So for me, like when I look at the ETB, I just wouldn't be surprised if this is $250 by the end of the year. We're seeing a lot of hype move back into Sword and Shield, obviously, with booster boxes pumping. A lot of that money hasn't really hit Crown and Zenith yet. Crown Zenith. And I just think that there's still a ton of room on this to grow, even though over the last year we're up 272%. A large part of that is because, you know, it was pretty much under MSRP for that time. People realized it was undervalued. They knew it was going out of rotation and then had a big pump. I'm very confident this will continue to go up in price because it's a fun set to open. So you have that aspect. And it's an amazing set with incredible chase cards. So I'm super bullish on Crown Zenith. I think it's arguably my number one investment I'll be looking for going forward. Probably my number two, actually, because the next one I want to talk about is the one that we all are aware of. Now is the time to load up on 151. I have been saying this, but this is in kind of a more official putting the message out there type of video. 151 is going out of rotation next year. Early next year. This is a set that is purely based on the original 151 Pokemon. And it has been printed into oblivion. At least recently. And yet, nothing has happened to the prices. In fact, they actually are just continuing to go up. 151 bundles for me are what I'm targeting. $10 a pack or under is ideal. So $60, which you can still find plenty of deals on Facebook. I'm trying to get some for myself even today and this week. And I'm going to a card show this weekend, so plan on trying to get some then. But currently, as it stands, about $75 market price with insane sales volume, which I don't know why it hasn't loaded recently. But yeah, I mean, look at the volume here. Like even today just on TCG Player, doesn't include local, doesn't include eBay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 have sold, and it's 10 o'clock my time. Yesterday, a ton of volume sold, and the day before, and so on and so forth. They will just continue to be bought up in high amounts of quantities. 178 sold over this a couple weekends ago, I believe. Was it July 30th, April 1st? No, sorry, that was a Wednesday to a Friday 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, these are going to be $100 relatively soon. I made a prediction earlier in the year that I believed that there's a high chance that 151 booster bundles were going to surpass prismatic ETB prices at some point. I might do another prediction video this week and just redo that one again because I really want to emphasize that 151 is an incredible investment opportunity right now. The best product from the era, or I'm sorry, from the set, is the UPC. You have the Mew promo, absolutely incredible. You have the metal card. And what is it? 16 packs of 151. 16 packs. So a very high premium. Pretty cool looking UPC. What is this? 400, we'll say 435 divided by 16. That's $27 a pack. Very high. Obviously, get the promo cards as well. That make a huge difference. But this isn't getting cheaper, and it's very likely we're not getting any more of these. Anything under $500 is probably going to be a pretty decent deal. Again, I'm really focusing on packs, personally. But I think in a few years' time, this will easily be $1,000. Without question, which is crazy because we all used to walk by them every single day of our lives at Target, and they were $89.99, and we just looked at them because 151 was on shelves. Pretty wild. But I do have one mini tin display. I actually think there's some value in the mini tins. For one, they look really nice, especially in a display. And I think people are not as keen to hold these long term, which means there are more buying opportunities I've seen locally. And if you find one ripped, I've gotten offers for $160, which is $16 a tin, which isn't that far off from MSRP. And that's $8 a pack. because there's 2 in each, and that's a really good deal if you consider they're pretty easy to store, not as easy as bundles, and $2 cheaper per pack, I think is a pretty fair deal. So sometimes these pop up, they do go quickly, so keep an eye out for those like local. But again, 151 is my number one investment over the next year, and I'm really starting to concentrate into this set and Crown Zenith as deals pop up. Obviously, anything MSRP will probably still have a few more chances at some products like we have in the past couple of months. I was lucky enough to be able to get 6 posters at MSRP, which is really fortunate, which I showed off recently. But I think even at market price for this set, it's a no-brainer. Here's my Zapdos, in case you want to know what my favorite card is from the set. It's this one, followed closely by the Alakazam, which I also pulled the Blastoise, pulled the Charmander, sold them off last year, traded them for sealed booster boxes. Or at least partially. Japanese Charizard pulled, and then I ripped a couple Japanese sets, which were really fun, and I think that's why people thought Master Balls were going to be so good in English, but nobody really cares anymore. But you had one Master Ball in every Japanese 151 box, and I got Big Balloon 3 times, so pretty brutal. But yeah, I mean, just an incredible set. Let's look at the card list just to refresh our minds. It's pretty incredible, guys. What else needs to be said about 151 that hasn't already been said? It's just a no-brainer. I mean, it's pretty wild if you compare this to Crown Zenith. I think Crown Zenith is a better set. I don't think it's a better set to invest in because these Pokemon are iconic and everybody knows these Pokemon. Whereas that's kind of true for these, but not to like Origin Form Dialga, I don't think is making like the average Pokemon fan like super excited. But like, yeah, I think the set is better. I just think 151 is has more appeal to a wider audience and has a little bit more room for appreciation going forward. So pretty much anything 151, anything Crown Zenith is going to be good. Obviously, it's going to vary depending on your own personal like storage situation. But let me know your thoughts down below. This is my official alarm, video for these 2 sets because that's my plan for the month and really going forward, because we're not going to have many opportunities to, get the booster bundles at $60. Eventually, they're going to go up to 80. People aren't going to sell them for under 70, and then once 151 kind of goes out of print officially, it's going to go crazy. And this time next year, don't be surprised if bundles are, well over $100. Blooming Waters are, $200, et cetera, et cetera. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'd be curious to hear what you think. And I still think even in a crazy market, there are fantastic opportunities at play long term. So I'm focusing more on concentrating over diversifying at the moment. And I wonder if you're doing the same. So drop a comment down below if your plans are similar, what your thoughts are on both of these sets, how they kind of stack up amongst the current investing landscape. Would love to hear it. Consider liking and subscribing if you find value on my channel. I appreciate you being here. I usually post on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and then I go live on a stream on Sundays. And that's kind of what I'm sticking to for now. So yeah, guys, really appreciate it again. Thank you again to the Shiny app. They're really great to work with, and I love the app. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Peace.